I was trying to look for a way to explain just to the everyday person how the Jehovah's Witnesses actually police sex, because it's quite sometimes hard to explain to the everyday person, but people who've gone through the religion can easily, you know, just quickly note it. If there's a new rule change or something like that, you can really already note what they're trying to actually do.
I'm tired of the church.
But when it comes to sex, the rules haven't really changed. They've been quite consistent, and we'll get into those in quite a bit. But I want to start by explaining why the Jehovah's Witnesses actually police sex. So sex, as explained, it's quite an intimate act. You are your most vulnerable, and it's a portion of your life. And the Jehovah's Witnesses want every portion of your life. They want all of your time. They want to control what it is that you do. They want to control who you do it with and how you do it. Sex is no different. If they are able to control how you have sex, these people clearly have a good grip and hold on you. And believe it or not, they actually do. Like, the Jehovah's Witnesses don't do oral sex, like no blowjobs. He ain't gonna go down on you. He is not gonna go down on you, girl. But anyway, this video is not about that. We're just going to unpack this, and even though I'm making jokes about this right now, it's quite a serious issue that I will get into as well and unpack. But sex and the Jehovah's Witnesses are quite a problem, and I feel like this video is needed just to expose this and have people learn and see why it is that the organization has a sex problem. So we've unpacked now as to why they do it. They want to control your life. They want to control who you spend your time with, what you do during your time, and how you spend your time. And now let's move on to how they do it.
Where does gayness come from, and how is it transmitted?
Yeah, that is a loaded question.
My pastor said it can come from breastfeeding.
So I was trying to find a way just to, you know, explain how they do it, and I was just on their website and I came across the dating rules that Jehovah's Witnesses have to go through when they're dating. And just going through those rules, I was quite easily able to pick up already how the mind control, the brainwashing for sex already starts. So I'm just going to pull up here some of the rules. Actually, not some, all of them. We're going to go through all these rules, and I'm going to just explain how the Jehovah's Witnesses use sex to control their members. So the first rule is marriage is a permanent union. Because Jehovah's Witnesses consider dating to be a step towards marriage, we view it seriously. So rule number one, when you date someone, you have to date them with the intention of getting married. So when you meet someone and you guys are dating, for you, from the onset, you already know this is potentially my husband or wife, and I am going to move accordingly. Now, do people really do this? Surprisingly, they do. Like, a lot of people actually do this within the Jehovah's Witness organization, and because of this, they really rush into marriage quite quickly because of they can't partake in sex before marriage. You can only have sex after marriage. So a lot of people then rush to get into relationships because of they are tempted. I mean, you've been horny for some time and finally you're dating someone, and this person, you can have sex with them, but you can't because you guys are not married yet. So you're gonna rush the process. I know it doesn't make sense, but it happens. It genuinely happens. And that's where already you start to see the brainwashing taking place of how people view sex, because it's taken quite lightly, in my opinion, where you're just rushing to marry someone. You don't even know their sexual interests. You don't know what they like, what they don't like. You know, you've never really explored that. So already they have a grasp on you in terms of that. But that's debatable, because some people are celibate and they proudly enjoy celibacy, and there's nothing wrong with that, you know. But there's some people as well who are forced to partake in celibacy when they don't really want to, but they are because of religious rules. And just to keep in mind that a lot of people within the Jehovah's Witness organization are not there out of free will. They are there because of family or ties that they have with the organization, and of course they're fearful to leave because of all the bad stuff that they hear.
So the events unfolding around us are making clearer than ever that we're living in the final part of the last days, undoubtedly the final part of the final part of the last days, shortly before the last day of the last days.
8 million Jehovah's Witnesses around the globe believe the end is nigh for a world that is controlled by Satan, and only they will be saved.
He may use hailstones of undisclosed size to destroy those wicked humans. Now, during that time, will we need to fear the natural elements? Not at all.
They are raised in this kind of fear bubble.
So the next rule is, dating is only for those old enough for marriage. Such ones are past the bloom of youth or have passed the peak surge of sexual desire. I don't know. This rule is just here for show. It means nothing. It just means marriage is for ones that are past the bloom of youth. I don't know, is that past 35? Because if that's the case, yeah, doesn't youth end after the age of 35? I don't know. But anyway, this rule we know is just here for show. Doesn't mean anything. Because I mean, you have to marry someone after the legal age. Were they going to marry all people who are under 18? Anyways, those who date should be free to marry. Some people who are legally divorced are not viewed by God as being free to remarry, since his standard is that the only valid basis for divorce is sexual immorality. Now this rule is quite problematic. This rule, what it's actually saying is that if someone is married and they want to divorce their partner, they can only do so if the person is sexually immoral. And now the problem with this is that sometimes a person is not sexually immoral. They might just be beating you up. They might just be toxic for you. They might just not be good for you, or you've just fallen out of love with this person and you can't divorce them. If you divorce them as a Jehovah's Witness, you can't remarry. You can't. You can only remarry if your spouse has been sexually immoral or if they die. I think if they die as well. So here you already see how controlling the organization is. It's even controlling grown adults, where if you divorce someone due to reasons that they don't see as fitting, you can't remarry. So imagine now you are unhappy in your relationship, your spouse is hitting you or they are sexually abusing you, and you decide to divorce them. Fine, you divorce them, all is good, you've moved on with your life. You can't remarry now in the religion. You can't be with someone else. So that sucks for you. If you were thinking you're going to divorce someone and meet someone great in the organization, it's not going to happen. Then the next rule, Christians who want to marry are commanded to choose only a fellow believer. Jehovah's Witnesses view this command as referring not merely to a person who respects our beliefs, but to one who shares and practices those beliefs as a baptized witness. God has directed his worshippers to marry only those of the same faith. This command is also practical, as modern researchers have found. All of a sudden, research is of value. They have a footnote here from a journal. I think it's a journal, or it's an article. Yeah, an article in the journal Marriage and Family Review stated that 3 qualitative studies of long-term marriages have indicated that similarity in religious orientation, religious faith, and religious beliefs are key factors in long-term marriages. Oh wow. Okay, I'm too lazy to read up on the study, because it doesn't matter whether sharing the same faith with someone will result in a long-term marriage or not, because sharing the same faith is not what makes a good marriage. Point blank, period. We all know that. So they force members basically to marry someone within the organization, and people, I gotta tell you, it's bad. It's really bad. The caliber of men in that organization, wow. For every good one guy, I'm telling you, there's like a couple of shitty guys, you know, a couple of shitty guys who make up for it. But in anyways, by them forcing people to only marry within the organization, they basically are able to control you even further. But basically here the rule states that they shouldn't marry outside of, not share the same faith as you, and this basically forces the couple to adhere to the religion's rules, because now there's two people within the same religion and you're holding each other accountable essentially. And that's why they really love pushing this messaging of men are the head of the household and women should be submissive, and then the men are fed just this toxic narrative of how women can think for themselves, women need to be led, you know, all that nonsense. So here's your husband who is going to just hold you accountable to the organization, and you're probably going to do the same. But your partner now is abusive, they're toxic. What do? You know, how do you handle such? Because your only options in this organization is that are just your options. You can't be with someone else. So you can already see the control, the need to really control every detail, every aspect of members' lives, where you are controlled as to who you date, where you date, how you date, and even when you marry, they tell you when you can marry, when you can remarry, because they control when you get divorced as well. Like, it's just this whole big cycle of just them trapping you within this organization. So the next rule then says children should obey their parents. For children living at home, this command includes obeying their parents' decisions about dating. This might include the age at which a son or a daughter could begin dating and what activities would be allowed. Now, rule is showing us already how the Jehovah's Witnesses expose young children to sex and pervertedness and just disgusting people. Because listen to this, children should obey their parents. For children living at home, this command include obeying their parents' decision about dating. This might include the age at which a son or a daughter could begin dating and what activities would be allowed. Please tell me why you would allow your 14-year-old to start dating when they are supposed to date with the intent of getting married. What? How are we talking marriage at like 14, 15 years old? Are you seeing where this is going? Because in a separate incident now, which is a true incident, there was a 40-year-old dating a 14-year-old or a 15-year-old, I think, 14 or 15. They were dating a minor, and the elders were aware of this. And when questioned about this, this man said that he will not do anything until this person is of legal age, and they allowed this to happen because of this rule. Parents can decide at what age their children can date. How are you letting your minor date and expose themselves to predators or people who could harm them, possible rapists, possible abusers, and just be okay with that? Because if you're saying your minor can date an adult and they are dating with the intention of getting married, and I'm telling you guys, like, this sounds so absurd, but it's happening. This case is not a special one. It's not anything out of the ordinary, you know, because the Jehovah's Witnesses, honestly, like, it's such a pathetic organization. If you're a pathetic person, you're a loser, and your life is not working out, please join that religion, because they will like welcome you, like really welcome you, especially in rural areas or areas where a lot of people aren't really educated. Like, the most disgusting and vile things actually happen in the name of God in that organization. You find old men dating young children, and congregation members knowing this and being okay with this because they are a person of God, you know. How are we okay with this? And I'm going on this tangent because we know there's certain members who know about these pedophilic acts taking place. You guys know you are attending a religious organization with a person who's harmed children or who has the potential to harm children or who's just acting weird around kids, and you let that person go house to house with children, you let that person hang out with your children, or you let that person hang out with other people's children, like, someone needs to call the cops. Like, can we call the cops at this point? Anyways, next rule. Within the scriptural guidance, witnesses personally choose whether to date and whom to date. This is in harmony with the principle each one will carry his own load of responsibility. Still, when it comes to dating, many wisely seek the advice of mature witnesses who have their best interests at heart. So basically, if you are looking to date someone, they advise you to ask an old person who probably married the wrong person themselves, who's going to give you advice on whether to marry someone or not, or to date someone or not. Why this matters? Because the Jehovah's Witnesses see people who are very active within the organization as being very spiritually strong. So spiritually strong means someone who really listens to the word of God, and the word of God is like just leading their life, you know, they're a good person. But that's not the case, because the case is people who are deemed spiritual are people who are just very active. That means if there is a talk going on, they will pass on the mic. That's being very spiritual. If you're going to like preach the word of God and you're going house to house and you've spent like, I don't know, 10 hours, wow, you're so spiritual. But we don't even care whether a person is showing kindness, a person is loving, a person is respectful of others, and they're joyous, and just all of the other fruits of the spirit. Like, we don't even know if this person carries them or like really has taking them into their life. We don't know that, but just because someone is like really just a busybody, we already deem them as those like really dumb things that are considered as being spiritual. You find low quality people in good leadership, not good, wow, but you find low quality people in leadership positions, and they just automatically seem as like a good relationship partner, a good marriage partner, and you could just literally be feeling like, okay, this person is toxic, this person is not good for me. Let me just talk to an adult, a person who's been married for some time, and I just explain to them what's going on in my relationship. They will probably guide me to like break up with this person. You get there, you probably explain a little bit about your problems, you already be shushed, you know, and be told, you know what, pray to God, and he will guide you. But just know this person is quite spiritual. He's, you know, like the reasoning is just so off. Like, this is ridiculous at this point. But that's the danger of having like people who are out of touch guiding you. And some of these people sometimes actually will give you good advice, but it'll go back then to the caliber of men within the Jehovah's Witness organization. It's an organization that really harbors and protects abuses. It encourages toxic and abusive behavior in men, and you need to keep this in mind when you think about like someone going out dating within that organization. Like, what type of men are they constantly meeting? So the next rule, before I go to the next rule, as I'm saying all of these things, of course I'm not saying that all men within the organization are bad. I think obviously that goes without saying, but there are a lot of bad people as well. Next rule, many practices commonly associated with dating are actually serious sins. Don't be French kissing, nobody. For example, the Bible commands us to avoid sexual immorality. This includes not only intercourse but also other unclean acts between unmarried people. This confused me because it's unclean acts between unmarried people, but then when you are married, you're not unclean anymore. I need to understand. I can't even partake in this while married. Oh my gosh, these include fondling the genitals of another person, that is unclean, or engaging in oral or anal sex. How dare you, disgusting people. Even premarital passion arousing behavior, this is the kissing part, definitely. Behavior that stops short of sexual immorality is uncleanness that dispels God. Wow, so God is being put off when you tongue kiss someone and you're not married. God is being put off. Anyways, immoral conversations consisting of obscene talk are also condemned in the Bible. So no sexting, okay? So just going back quickly on this, no kissing. Oh wait, let me teach you guys a new word. So we call French kissing lamza, and basically no lamza for you, no lamza for you. You cannot, because that is going to lead you to do crazy stuff, and God is going to get put off. You're going to put God off. Yeah. So basically they're just telling you here you can't do anything fun. It's dirty, but you can see they're literally telling you when to even kiss someone, basically. Last rule, the heart or inner person is treacherous. Oh my gosh, so dark. It can lead a person to do things that he knows are wrong. To prevent their heart from misleading them, couples who are dating can avoid being alone in tempting situations. They may choose to take such reasonable precautions as staying in the company of a wholesome group or a suitable chaperone. Single Christians who are looking for a marriage mate recognize the risks of online dating sites, especially the risk of developing a relationship with a person whom one knows very little about. Okay, this is so boring, like I'm so tired already. But basically what they are saying here is that the heart can be treacherous. People can be like not what they are portraying themselves to be, I guess. So when you're dating someone, like always have a chaperone, you know, like let a chaperone be there to protect you guys. And believe it or not, people really have chaperones. Like people really have chaperones when they're dating. Yeah, I wish I have a story about it, but I never had a chaperone. I never really dated within the organization like that, and this video is not about me. But basically all of these rules that I just mentioned here show you just how controlling the Jehovah's Witnesses are of people's lives and how they're controlling of their sex lives. And now this concludes the part as to how they actually control people's sex lives. But let's get into how it's actually backfiring on them now. So as mentioned earlier on, that you find older adults like dating young kids within the organization, and members knowing this very well. And there's actually quite a prominent case, allegedly, of Markus Houston doing the same thing. He dated a young girl and they were married. I think she was like 19 when they got married. So it just tells you how old he or she was when they were dating, and it's concerning. And this is why everyone should know about this and be concerned. The Jehovah's Witnesses readily, easily, willingly expose young children to sex at a young age by allowing them to date older people, by allowing known or unknown people who have abused children hang around children, be around children, and by also continuing this culture of encouraging members not to report such things to authorities. Because if you see any wrongdoing, you should report this to the elders and they will take over this. Men who are not educated, who are not police officers, who know nothing about handling such cases, you must report this to them. And what happens? You have this going on where people are harming young children and thinking they're getting away with it. But what the Jehovah's Witnesses also need to realize is that times are changing. There's something called the internet, and there's a lot of people who are still within this organization, but they're just feeling trapped and they can't leave. But if you do anything to them, they will call the police. They will talk to someone. And that's how we can all protect ourselves and protect our loved ones. If you know someone who is being harmed right now within the Jehovah's Witness organization, this is the perfect time for you to come forward, talk to someone, report this to the police, let them know that this is happening. Because if the more people talk about it, the more people report this, the more people can be behind bars where they belong, and hopefully this religion can, I don't know, break apart. Something must happen to this religion, you know.
Without them. These cases, as all of them are disturbing and sad. But this one, in particular, digs deeper. Because in this case, all of the defendants and all of the victims come from the same religious organization, the Jehovah's Witnesses. and many courageous survivors came forward and called the hotline. So as a result of our ongoing investigation and the individuals that reached out to us on our hotline, we are here today.
So how is this backfiring then on the Jehovah's Witnesses? I mean, if they have so much control over people, how is this then backfiring on them? While all of these people speaking up, about what has happened to them while still in this organization, this is what is happening, and this is how it's backfiring on this organization. They've been hiding and protecting vile people, and look at how these vile people are actually showing out and acting a fool by harming people. Like, how disgusting can you be? And how can you protect such people and still attend a church that protects and hides these people? There's someone on the run. I don't know if they've been found at this point when I've published this video, but there's someone still on the run, and I wouldn't be shocked to find out there's Jehovah's Witnesses who are actually hiding them. But anyways, I don't even know, but it's backfiring on them, and that's all that matters. And if you are someone who's gone through something like this, hopefully this will give you the courage to speak up and report this, because of people are listening and they're looking out just to find people like you. So it's time for you to come forward. And if you are still struggling with coming forward or speaking about this, we are still here for you. We'll still care about you. You're still loved, and I hope you don't forget that you still matter, and you will heal from this. You know, you will find yourself. And yeah, I'm super happy you've just made it out. You've made it out of this disgusting organization, or you're at least looking into leaving it if you're watching this video. So it's definitely backfiring on them, and I'm hoping that these stories will encourage people to speak up. But yeah, that's where I leave it now. I want to thank you all so much for watching. I hope you learned something, and I will leave a few numbers that you guys can call if you want to report this, or just some more articles, or just anything that can help you guys. I will have it all linked in the description box. Thank you so much for watching my videos. Please follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I will have it on the screen. And subscribe. Yes, I almost forgot. Please subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much again for watching. Please subscribe, leave a comment. I love reading your comments and just responding to you guys and engaging there. It's so nice to get to know you all. So please leave a comment, and I will definitely see you all in the next one. Thank you so much. Bye.